China's metro systems can be super intimidating at first. These stations are huge, there are security checks, and even something normal like paying the subway fare can be confusing if you're not prepared. But once you figure out how it all works, it becomes one of the fastest, cheapest, and easiest ways to get around, and you might even end up preferring it. So in this video, I'll go over everything you need to know to take the subway in China, including what to do if you're traveling with kids or with someone who doesn't have a phone, a super common concern that gets asked every single day. I'll also cover mistakes to avoid making that can get you fined by the police. That section might be the most important part of this entire video. Timestamps are below, but I highly recommend you do not skip around if this is your first time taking a metro in China. Everything in this video is a must know. By the way, if it's your first time seeing one of my videos, welcome. I'm Lynn and I create this channel to help break down the confusing parts of China travel. So if China is part of your travel plans and you want to learn all my best tips as well as get my fun travel content, then make sure to subscribe. Let's first talk about what you need, and that's two things. Number one, a way to pay, ideally Alipay or WeChat Pay. And number two, a map application. I personally use a map, but there's a bunch of them, like Baidu Maps, you have Metroman, and so forth. Similar to what you're probably used to in Google Maps, it'll tell you the direction, which train line, how many stops, and even things like which subway car has stronger AC, or which subway car you should board to minimize the amount of walking after you get off the train. And as someone who likes to optimize her time, or maybe I'm just lazy, that makes me so happy. The metro system, especially in cities like Shanghai, is incredibly extensive. You can get to all the tourist stops, the restaurants, even to the airport directly on the subway. It's also super cheap, with the average trip ranging from 3 to 5 yuan, that's under 1 USD. And even though taxis and ride shares are super affordable compared to Western counterparts, there are times when a subway is just a little bit easier and it doesn't put you at the mercy of traffic. And given how consistent the trains are, we're talking one arriving every 2 to 5 minutes, it's just a very easy way to get around. Also, side note, going into the subway tunnels is about more than just taking a subway. You can find a ton of stores in the underground malls, and it's a super great place to just discover new stores as well as just spend time. Lots of shops, food stalls, and more can be found offering things at super competitive prices. Not to mention, some of these stations are literal works of art. Like, look at this one. It's not even famous, but I just found it pretty, so I took a video. And then of course there's a famous one in Shenzhen. This one looks like basically an airport. It's crazy. Now let's talk about how to pay for your subway rides, which is probably what most of you are here for. So there are a total of 4 options. Starting off with the most traditional option, we have the single journey tickets, which you can buy at one of these machines. So the downside of this option is that you do need to buy a ticket every single time, which can get tedious if you're going to multiple stops per day. So I don't really recommend this option unless you have no other choice. The second way to pay for the subway is to get a rechargeable transit card. To get this card, you'll have to locate the Metro Service Center, pay a small deposit, and then you can load funds onto it. The nice thing about the card is that you can just tap it at the turnstile. It's super quick, much faster than buying single journey tickets. However, something to keep in mind is that some of these cards only work for that specific city, while others may work for multiple cities. The third option is the most tourist-friendly option, and that's to tap your contactless credit or debit card at the fare gate. This is the easiest option of the lot, obviously, as you don't have to deal with ticket machines, you don't have to buy any cards. The only problem is that not every place will support this. So you can see in major cities like Shanghai and Guangzhou, this is already supported. You can see the Visa and MasterCard logo signs on the fare gates, but in a lot of the other cities, this isn't yet supported. The last option is the one that I use myself, and mostly because it's guaranteed to work no matter where I am in China and takes less than 30 seconds to set up for each city. And that's to use the transport QR code that's within Alipay and WeChat Pay. I'm going to assume that you already set these up, but if not, I have videos teaching you how to set those up as well. So starting with Alipay, after you launch the app, you'll look for the transport option at the top here on the home page. You'll then tap on Metro. You'll need to activate the card the first time before it gives you your QR code. And this will need to be done at every new city you go to. So to change the city, you just tap the little triangle here at the top, and then you get a full list of all the cities. So if you're in Shanghai, you'll select Shanghai here, and then on this page, you'll tap View, or whatever's in the big blue button. It'll then pull up all the card options. You select activate, agree to the terms, give it a second to process, and then a QR code will show up. So this QR code is what you'll scan at the turnstile to enter and exit the metro. And the fare will be charged to the card that you've set up in your Alipay. There's a similar transportation feature in WeChat Pay as well, but it's much easier to set up in Alipay, so I recommend you trying that first. So again, this option is pretty straightforward if you've already set up your Alipay or WeChat Pay, and it's guaranteed to work across all of China. Next, we'll talk about what to expect at the subway, but before we get there, if you're finding this helpful so far, take a second to hit that like button, and let me know in the comments which one of these 4 options you'll be using. So now that you have your payment method ready, let's talk about what to expect at the station. When you enter the subway, the first thing you'll see even before you reach the turnstiles is the security checkpoint. This is standard across all of China's subway stations. It's a little bit annoying, but makes the subway safer, so I don't hate the idea either. You'll place your bags on the conveyor belt similar to how it works at the airport, but much quicker. Things that are prohibited include weapons, explosives, toxic chemicals, pets, with service animals being an exception, strong smelling food, and bikes. There's also certain limitations on nail polish, perfume, cigarettes, aerosols, matches, lighters, and alcohol. So the exact limits will vary by city, but these are general guidelines to follow. Liquids like water are allowed, but you may be asked to take a quick sip to confirm that it is not a hazardous liquid. And then after security, you'll find the turnstiles where you'll pay your fare using one of the methods we mentioned earlier. So you'll follow the signs that lead to the platform for your train. And then once you arrive at the platform, make sure you check that you're waiting on the side going in the right direction. You can check this by looking at a map and confirming that the next stop on the sign matches the next stop in your app. And then once you've confirmed this, you can also check on the LED screen to see when the train is coming. This is accurate down to the second. And once you board the train, you'll also notice electronic maps above the door that will tell you where you're going, so you can confirm one more time. This makes it all very easy to follow along during the journey, and also usually the signs and announcements are spoken in both Chinese and English. So once you've arrived at your stop, you'll head back upstairs to the ticketing level, and then you'll exit by tapping at the fare gates one more time using the same method that you used to pay to enter earlier. The system will then calculate your fare based on the distance traveled, and you'll get a notification shortly afterwards. Now it's time to look for the exit, but instead of just looking for the nearest one, notice the numbers on the wall, and those are the numbers corresponding to the different exits. If you're going somewhere specific, your map app will likely suggest a specific exit number, and that will be the one that's closest to your destination, which will save you a lot of walking time, as the exits can be quite far apart. Now let's talk about the mistakes that often trip up tourists and cause frustration. This might be the most important part of this entire video. The first mistake is thinking that the QR code can be used for multiple people. It can't. Each person needs their own payment method or ticket, and that's because, as you saw earlier, you need to scan when you enter it and when you exit, so it calculates your fare based on distance. If you're traveling with children and they're under 1.2 meters or about 47 inches tall, they can enter the metro for free with a paying adult. The rule varies by city, with it generally being one free child per paying adult, but Shanghai has recently adjusted the policy to allow for more children to ride for free. So there may be more family-friendly policies in other places later on as well. Now, if that doesn't apply, let's say if your child is over 48 inches tall, then you can get them a single journey ticket, you can get them a transit card, you can also link a separate card to their Alipay or WeChat Pay account, one that's different from the card that you're using to pay for your fare. A second mistake that's not often talked about is that you're not allowed to eat or drink on the subways. While you can bring food into the subway, you're not allowed to open it and eat it on the subway. If caught, this can lead to a fine. This is largely out of respect for the public space, and so people don't leave their trash around, and that's how they maintain the cleanliness of the subways. However, there are exceptions for infants and those with medical needs. And in addition to eating and drinking, here are a couple other things that are prohibited on the subway. You now know everything that you need to confidently navigate China's metro systems like a pro, which will help you save so much time and money and help you travel like a local. And if you're looking for some amazing resources like a free guide telling you what to download, what to pack, and more, definitely check out the link in my description after this video. You'll also find there other resources like my guide on how to save money in China. This is everything I wish I had known before my first trip, as it would have saved me so much money. So definitely check that out. And now that you know how to take the metro in China, if you want to know how to call a car, like a ride share, you can check out my other video as well. Thank you for joining me today. Hopefully you found it helpful. Let me know in the comments if you have any other questions, and don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.